with just over 24 hours until State of Origin opener. We're lucky enough to cross back into camp for the last time before kick-off. Nate Myles is the Maroons assistant coach and joins us now. Milesy, how's it all going? You've landed in Sydney yesterday. We spoke to Harry Grant last night. Everyone's been pretty tight-lipped leading into this first game. Have you got anything for us?
Yeah, Harry Grant was pretty sick in camp, mate. Did he tell you that?
He sure did. You're not targeting anyone, Nico Hines, something. There's got to be some sort of game plan or some sort of tactic from you guys coming down here.
Mate, debutants, you can't doubt a debutant. They could come out of the woodworks and hurt us. So we've been doing some pretty critique planning around that, mate.
Nate, it's James Graham here. Really looking forward to tomorrow night's game. You always went above and beyond in State of Origin when you put on that Maroons jersey. There's going to be some forwards that will need to do that tomorrow. Who will you be having a quiet word with just before kick-off?
Mate, I like the look at Paddy Carrigan this year, and I think he plays a lot of minutes at Clubland, and he probably might be required to do that tomorrow night, but hopefully not. We can hold the ball for a bit and he can just play a little bit more aggressive. I think that's a good one. Lindsay Collins, one of my favourites, mate. He's a true tradie at what he does and he's an expert at it. But Moe Whatuwaka, he's going to get my vote, mate. He's put his hand up all year at the Titans and coming off the bench, hopefully he can inject his energy again.
Nate, Paul Crawley here, mate. There's a lot of talk down here in particular about the New South Wales probably having the bigger pack and we've got 4 forwards on the bench. Queensland's only got 2 forwards on the bench. You're missing Tino and Flegler. What's the secret for the Queensland pack to go out tomorrow night and do the job?
Yeah, completion's a big one. Mate, we end up tackling all night. It's going to fatigue us and put us under the pump. And I suppose the way around that and holding the ball and completing sets. Origin's a funny one, as you all know. It's a process of preparing well and being ready for anything, because you can do all the fancy stuff at training, but when you get out into the field and you get into the nitty-gritty part of it and the ref doesn't blow the whistle as much and a few more things happen, you start to fatigue. And if you're not holding the ball and controlling it, it's going to be a painful night.
Nate, Dave Riccio, mate. Billy Slater's keeping his Selwyn Cobbo plan pretty close to his chest. How do you think Selwyn gets into this game, Nate?
Yeah, the Broncos lad said he's been putting his hand up and going in the middle of the field at the Bronx, and he claims to be a tough front rower, so we'll see how he goes. I'm sure Jimmy would have been able to fix him up, but look, we've actually had a couple of injuries throughout the backs in the last few series, and when you're not prepared for that, a lot of people have got to play out of positions. We've got 1 or 2 blokes in the middle that can possibly venture out wide, with your Benny Hunts and things like that, but mate, we just didn't want to take that risk again, and coming into a game, mate, as you know, they have picked a big side, and I think that's something that we've got to be ready for. And like I said, we hold the ball, we kick long and chase hard and do the small things. The small things add up.
Nate, is that something you're looking to counteract? Obviously, you've gone with a specialist dummy half off the bench before. And one thing you mentioned there about kick chase is a plan to potentially kick early and turn those bigger guys around.
Yeah, for sure. Again, Jimmy, it comes back to holding the ball, mate. You're not kicking much when you're tackling, other than a can along the ground and wishing you were somewhere else. So the process for us is to complete, kick long and chase hard. And the back three, they have a change in the fullback position, but mate, that doesn't bother us in our preparation. We know what Tedesco's like. He's not going to shirk his efforts, and he'll look for another 27 hit-ups, and we know which way he's going to come. He's going to come through the middle of the field, so we just got to keep turning up for each other and working hard.
Milesy, thanks for joining us so close to the game. You're one of the best to put a Maroons jersey on. Good luck tomorrow night.
Braith, I'd love if you text me back, brother.
It's in the mail, Milesy. It's in the mail. There he is, Nate Myles. He wanted a round of golf,
FedEx.
by the way, in Queensland, and I left him hanging because he's playing for the opposition. All right, let's cross to the Blues camp now. Assistant coach Matty King is standing by. Kingy, thanks for joining us. Only 24 hours away. You're in New South Wales camp. How is the feeling? How is the vibe amongst all of the guys?
Yeah, it's unreal, Braith. Matt just set up an incredible week, mate, and feels a bit like Christmas Eve, to be honest, mate. We can't wait for tomorrow.
Hey, Kingy, it's James Graham here. Quite a few new faces coming into this Origin opener on Wednesday night. How are the new faces feeling? Are they in for a sleepless night tonight?
Yeah, Jamie, you know what it's like, mate. Before a big game, there is some, you can get quite noisy, I suppose, but all I can say, mate, is those 5 guys, along with the rest of the team, have prepared so well. So they should put their head on their pillow tonight, knowing that they've done everything they can to play well tomorrow night and represent their state, represent their family, and go do a job for their teammates. It's what a special occasion for those 5 guys to represent New South Wales for the first time, and I've got every confidence, mate, that they'll do a great job for us.
Matt, Paul Crawley here, mate. What are your thoughts on the fact that New South Wales have gone 4 forwards on the bench, Queensland 2 forwards on the bench with Ben Hunt and Selwyn Cobbo? Do you worry about the fact that we haven't got that back out there in case something happens?
Crawls, it's an interesting one, mate, but we've got all our bases covered, mate. We know exactly what it looks like if something was to happen out there. Fingers crossed it doesn't, and we can rotate those guys through the middle. We've gone with obviously a really mobile pack, and looking to use those guys' strengths to get the best of Queensland. I'm not too concerned what they're up to, mate, to be honest, but we're clear on our plan. We've got complete faith on those guys on the bench to come and do an incredible job. We've got a 3-time premiership captain in Isaiah Yeo on the bench, so I'm really confident in those guys.
You mentioned your own plan and focusing on yourself there, Kingy. Hines and Luai, the halves, how's their week gone? How's the preparation been? And how do we, I suppose, expect to see them play tomorrow night?
Yeah, those guys have gelled so well, Braith. It's been a pleasure actually to sit back and watch those guys connect straight away. Monday afternoon, the first meeting they had was together, and they just started chatting around what our footy was going to look like. And honestly, mate, they've driven that every single day. Nico, in particular, has been exceptional. He's super clear on what our footy is going to look like, how he's going to drive that. And then Romy, Teddy, Dill before that, the spine have been incredible, mate. So, but the halves, I can't wait to see them connect and combine and dance together tomorrow. They've had 4 or 5 exceptional sessions now, and I'm looking forward for them to put it together tomorrow night.
Kingy, Dave Riccio here, mate. Can you tell me who's kicking goals for the Blues? If there's a couple of options with Nico Hines, Stephen Crichton and Zach Lomax.
Yeah, all those guys are great kickers. They've they've all been practicing. Nico will take the reins there, mate. He's got the better percentage out of all of those guys, and he's done a big job all week. I think Zach would be playing second fiddle to him. But yeah, we're blessed with goal kickers for sure, mate. But yeah, Nico will get the points for us tomorrow night.
Hey, Kingy, I know you're going to focus on New South Wales, but Reece Walsh is the star of this Queensland team. How do you plan to shut him down? Are we thinking the defensive centres of Crichton and Suolihi to jam? We saw what happened when Penrith used that tactic against him earlier on this season. Is that something we might see from New South Wales?
Yeah, obviously, Gemma. We've discussed it in length, mate, on how to shut down a number of their players, and Reece is at the top of the pile there. So, if you try to solve the Origin puzzle on your own, mate, you're kidding yourself. So we've got 13 players who are super clear on how we're going to shut Queensland down, and Reece is just a part of that. So, super clear in our plan. And we just need to keep an eye on their number one. He'll pop up on short sides. He'll be back through the middle of the ruck, and clearly, as everyone knows, he loves to sweep out the back of shape on those longer shifts. So we've got all that covered, mate.
Kingy, thanks for joining us so close to the game. You're a great New South Wales. Yourself and New South Wales are privileged to have you in their camp. Go and get those Maroons tomorrow night.
Thanks, BA. Can't wait, mate.
There he is, Matty King. He looks pumped up.